Hello, everyone. Good evening. And this is going to be a revision of questions for my grade 12 students who are preparing themselves for Tahsili. So this is a Tahsili review questions about nervous system, sense, muscular system, skeletal system, integumentary system, the nervous system, the sense organs, and the likes. So I would solve these questions with you with the answers. So you can, it's been recorded, so you can be for help for the ones who would not be able to take part in it. So let's see how far we can go with it. So the first question says, the basic type of tissue in the human body are, it says the cells, organ, and organ system, sight, smell, and hearing, thyroid, trachea, adenoid, and bronchus, muscle, nervous, connective, and epithelial. If you take a look at these questions, for example, it says the basic tissues. The first thing is, what is a tissue? A tissue is a combination of cells, combination of same cells coming together to perform the same function. So these are the conditions for a tissue. A tissue is a combination of more than one cell coming together to do the same function. So if you want to answer these questions, you would have to say, so if you look at option number 1A, says cell. A cell can never be a tissue. Organ is not a tissue. Organ is a group of tissues that come together to do the same function. An organ system is a group of organs. So automatically, number A is not the answer. So now let's move on to B. Sight, smell, hearing, all of these are sense. So the sense, they're not actually types of tissues. So the other one, thyroid, trachea, adenoid, bronchioles, these are part of the respiratory system. They don't actually define a tissue. But the one that actually talks about tissue more is the D. Muscle is made up of muscle cells. Muscle tissue is made up of muscle cells. Nervous tissue is made up of nervous cells. So when the nervous cells connect with another one, they form a tissue. A connective tissue, we have a tissue called connective tissue, and we have epithelial tissue. So D seems to be the most correct of all the answers. So the answer of number 1 is D. So question number 2 says, which system regulates and controls growth, development, and metabolism? So when you're talking about controlling of growth, controlling of development, metabolic activities, this has to do with the hormones in the body. So if you take a look at option B, lymphatic, the lymphatic system is a system that helps to cleanse the circulatory system by returning back the fluid that flows out of the circulatory pathway, the arteries, the veins, the capillaries. So when they flow out, it helps to return it back to normal space. And also they help to manage the fluid system in the body. So they do more of fluid cleaning or fluid organization in the body. So the number C, integumentary system, this is a system that has to do with the skin and all the part of the skin. What they do means that get rid of waste material, sweating, and all the rest. So the integumentary system has to do with your fingers, has to do with the hair, and all the rest. So, and the skeletal system does do with protection. The skull protects the brain, the rib cage protects the heart, and they help you to move around. So the one which actually seems to be most correct is A, endocrine system, because it's the system that has to do with the release of the hormones, which is triggered by the pituitary part of the brain. So the pituitary gland would help to trigger the release of hormones into the bloodstream that helps in development in metabolic activities. So the answer to number 2 is A. So question number 3 says, the levels of organization in the body includes what? When you say the level of organization, the meaning is how the body system gets organized from the very little, very simple to most complex. Let's say, for example, you're talking about the most simple part of the body is the cells. So cells, the group of cells form a tissue, and a group of tissues form an organ, and a group of organs form an organ system. So from this, we would say that it's very obvious that A is not the answer, C is not the answer, and D is not the answer. So the answer is B. So the answer to question number 3 is B. Now, question number 4. How many organ systems make up the human body? Sometimes there might be a little bit of discrepancies in this. Some textbooks might say some number, while some other textbook might say another number. But based on the most recent we taught in the class is 11. So it's 11 organ system that makes up all of the human body. So the number is 11. So answer to question number 4 is D. So now let's move on to question number 5. Question number 5 says, a group of similar cells that perform a single function is called A, O, and what? So as I've mentioned to you before, where we have a group of cells coming together to perform a same function, so we call that what? We call that tissue. I already given some examples here before. Cells, group of cells form a tissue, group of tissue form an organ, group of organ form an organ system. So this is exactly the way you should always remember it. And once you let it stick to your brain, you will not forget again. Let me get spotlights here. Okay. So now the next question is question number 6. Question number 6 says, which type of tissue lines your internal organs? That is to say, which types of tissues do you have in that is to say, line the internal organs in the body? So the internal organs in your body, they are being lined by a specific tissue. Nerve tissue, we know the nerve tissue has to do with transporting impulses to and from the brain and back to the brain or to the body. And the other one, the muscle cells, the muscle tissues, they are involved in connecting your bones together. They also connect they also make it easy for you to make some movement because the muscle contracts and relaxes. So when they connect to the bone, when they contract, then you move. When they relax, then you stop moving. So this is what makes movement possible. The connective tissue is a tissue that actually helps to connect one part of the system to another system. But the one that seems to be the most correct answer is option A, the epithelial tissue. It lines the internal organs of our body. Which type of tissue enables a person's finger to move as he or she plays the piano? So when you type on the keyboard or you play the piano, which of the tissues enable your fingers to move or to press the keys on the piano? So if you would think very deeply here, you will know it's not the epithelial, because I already mentioned what epithelial does. It's not a connective, it's not the nerve, but it's the muscle. So the muscle tissue enables you to what? To type. It coordinates with the brain. So it sends the feedback to the muscles to contract, and that's why you press the piano. So question number 8 says, which type of tissue provides support for the body? From what I already explained to you before, you would not understand the answer to question number 8, support for the body. Because when you say support for the body, you're actually meaning that it helps the body to have support to move. So we would say epithelial tissue doesn't do that. Actually, epithelial tissue lines the internal organs. The nerve tissue doesn't do that. The nerve tissue actually helps to coordinate between the brain and the body. The muscle tissue, in some level, we can say gives some support. It gives some support to the body. It makes support, like it makes you stand straight. It gives you, but if the muscle is not connected with the connective tissue, the muscle cannot function. If the muscle is not connected with the bones, with the skeletal system, is not going to be able to function properly. If the muscle is not connected to other parts of the system in the body, is not going to function. So the most correct answer is a connective tissue, which is B. So question number 9 says, the process by which organ system maintain relatively constant internal condition. What does that mean? The meaning is the organ system, they maintain a relatively constant internal condition. The condition of the internal environment would be made should be put under control if the body system wants to be fine. So what kind of process is this called in biology? So it's not circulation. We know what the circulatory system does. It helps to move blood fluid all around the body. We can say it helps in maintaining some internal condition, make you sweat, and all the rest. But all of these things, organization and teamwork, they don't seem to be correct. So homeostasis is the name given to the process, although circulation is also involved in the process, whereby it helps to push out some sweat from your body. But the name of the process is homeostasis. So question number 10 says, which process enables the body to maintain a stable temperature? So which system in your body helps you to maintain, or which process helps you to maintain a stable temperature? Heating is not. Circulation is not. Circulation can only be part of the a feedback. So a feedback inhibition, or we say a feedback system, whereby when the temperature is put in a level, so when the level is being reached, then it goes back. I will use an example of your AC. If you put your AC in, for example, 30 degrees Celsius, if the temperature of the room is 30 degrees, the AC would stop working. It stopped getting cold. So it helps to limit the temperature not to exceed 30 degrees. But once you have more people coming into the room and people start, talking, people start respiring or respirating, and they generate thermal energy and the room gets hotter, what happens is the AC start working again, just to maintain the temperature at 30. When it gets to 30, it goes stop working again. So this is the same thing that happens in the body. So this is called the feedback inhibition. So this is going to be first 10 questions. So I would make every video 10 questions so that we can find it easy to benefit from it. Thank you very much for listening.